right, guys. So breaking news came out today saying that Kawhi Leonard allegedly signed a $28 million no-show job endorsement deal with a fraudulent tree planting company secretly funded by $50 million from Clippers owner Steve Ballmer. And sources say it was all to, quote, circumvent the salary cap. Now, the source who broke this story is somebody named Pablo Tor, who I'm not really familiar with, but he has a podcast called The Pablo Tor Finds Out. I guess you can say the Pablo Tor Finds Out podcast. I guess that's what it's called. But he essentially broke the news, and it says here that Tor laid out the alleged scandal on his program Pablo Tor Finds Out on Wednesday. And it says the show, which features plenty of direct quotes from legal documents, he made the argument that Leonard was being paid $28 million through a company owned by a bomber to essentially do nothing. And it says Ballmer is accused of using the agreement as a way to pay Leonard more than his contract, which, if true, is a violation of NBA rules. The entire situation revolves around a now bankrupt company called Aspiration, a tree planting service funded by Ballmer. Aspiration entered a $28 million agreement with KL2 Aspire LLC, which is a company owned by Kawhi Leonard. It says here, Tor attempted to find any evidence that Leonard ever marketed for or endorsed the company, but came up empty. A clause in one of the contract documents between Aspiration and KL2 Aspire LLC stated Leonard could decline to proceed with any action desired by the company, essentially giving Leonard the ability to get paid without doing anything. Another clause stated Leonard would only be paid if he remained a member of the Clippers. Now, to make this simple for you guys who are watching today's video, I actually have the clip from Pablo Tor Finds Out of him explaining his case. So we'll play that, and then we'll talk about it after that, okay? Let's play it right here.
What we know is that NBA executives were suspicious of how Steve Ballmer's Clippers landed the most valuable free agent on the market, Kawhi Leonard. That the NBA did not find that Ballmer got Kawhi by sweetening their offer.
Mm-hmm.
But also that in March 2025, this celebrity-endorsed, multi-billion-dollar, allegedly fraudulent tree brokerage named Aspiration, which promises to clear your conscience and your emissions, they file for bankruptcy. And this is where the clue is. What David's looking at with his glasses on is a bankruptcy filing, and there's a list of creditors. The entities to which Aspiration and all of their alleged fraudulence still owes the most money. And what I noticed is what David is noticing right now, which is that on that list of creditors, up near the top, above the Boston Red Sox, is an LLC, a tiny little company that Aspiration owes $7 million. And that LLC's name, David, is what?
KL2 Aspire LLC.
And what does it list there under manager or member name?
Kawhi Leonard.
Whose NBA jersey number, just to connect all of the dots here, happens to be what?
Number 2.
So then the question is, the Aspire part of KL2 Aspire LLC, right? Because, okay, he's getting all his money, millions of dollars. What I started doing was scour the internet for any mentions of Aspiration. Any appearances, tweets, quotes, Instagram posts, anything by Kawhi Leonard endorsing Aspiration. And this was hard to find, which also might seem weird, right? Because every other celebrity Aspiration gave money to was well known. There was Drake offering a statement to Rolling Stone. There was Doc Rivers, Kawhi's own head coach. Robert Downey Jr. was cutting his commercial. That was the whole point of paying the A-list Avengers. But the grand total number of times that I found Kawhi Leonard ever publicly referencing Aspiration, 0 times.
Right.
Kawhi Leonard mentioned Aspiration. And so what I started doing was reaching out to dozens of former Aspiration employees. A grand total of 7 of them ultimately agreed to interviews, which is also how I have exclusively obtained the signed
Damn, this guy's trying really hard. Like,
and executed document.
In consideration of the rights and benefits granted to company hereunder, the company will pay KL2, which is Kawhi, $28 million in cash during the term of this agreement. Company will pay KL2 $7 million each year of the term.
That is Kawhi Leonard's autograph. I convinced one very important person who worked in the finance department of Aspiration to go on tape.
And I didn't so much as discover it as I was told about it.
What was your reaction? What were you told?
My reaction was, what the fuck? And I was told, like, oh, these are the major contracts and the major players you really need to be aware of. And we went through a litany of, really, really top tier name contracts. And then, oh, by the way, we also have a marketing deal with Kawhi Leonard, a $28 million organic marketing sponsorship deal with Kawhi. And that if I had any questions about it, essentially don't, because it was to circumvent the salary cap. LOL. There was lots of LOL when things were shared.
Did you ever see proof of Kawhi Leonard marketing or endorsing Aspiration in any way?
Never, not once. The single largest payment to an individual for marketing that Aspiration ever made has completely evaded all press. It's honestly incredible. Nothing. He didn't have to do anything.
In other words, Kawhi Leonard got from Aspiration a $28 million no-show job.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm honestly so jealous. So jealous. I mean, he's got the dream. Like, it's within my beliefs to be paid $28 million and do absolutely all as well.
The Clippers, however, provided a statement on behalf of the organization and owner Steve.
Yeah, they did say that. So essentially, basically, what I'm getting from these allegations is, to keep it short, what I'm hearing is the Clippers essentially handed Kawhi money under the table to join them and have been paying him annually since. Now, obviously, these are allegations, right? These are alleged. But if these allegations hold up, if this is true, the Clippers are subject to losing multiple picks. Now, we got to remember, Steve Ballmer is, I think Steve Ballmer is the richest owner in the league. How much is Steve Ballmer worth? Okay, so Steve Ballmer is worth $150 billion. And I believe the first violation, any team that, if this is true, by the way, if the Clippers in fact did this, if it's true, I think the first violation fine is $4 million, which is pennies to Steve Ballmer. It's pennies. Like, it's not going to hurt him at all. So, but the Clippers did release a statement. They had to respond. They had to defend the organization. And in his statement, it says, neither Mr. Ballmer nor the Clippers circumvented the salary cap or engaged in any misconduct related to Aspiration. Any contrary assertion is provably false. The team ended its relationship with Aspiration years ago during the 2022-23 season. When Aspiration defaulted on its obligations, neither the Clippers nor Mr. Ballmer was aware of any improper activity by Aspiration or its co-founder until after the government instituted its investigation. The team and Mr. Ballmer stand ready to assist law enforcement in any way that they can. Now, honestly, my honest opinion, I don't think that they did this. And I also think Pablo Torre is trying really hard, right? But that doesn't mean that what Pablo Torre reported isn't true, right? Let's see. Only time will tell. We'll see what happens in the next coming days if there's a bombshell report that says, oh, it's true or it's not, right? But with the first and second aprons, with this, this CBA that went, and, the first and second aprons, so many limitations to teams. And I think that opens up conversations for people to speculate and say, maybe this is true, maybe it's not, but again, if you were to ask me, do I think this is true? I don't think the Clippers will risk doing this just to lose, only for them to lose multiple picks. I just don't see the reason. I don't see why they'd be unprofessional like that. I don't see the reason they'd risk that. But again, like I said, the fine isn't really going to hurt them. It's the picks that I think would really hurt them, which I don't think they would risk. But again, I don't believe they did it. But let me know what you guys think about this topic. I mean, all the basketball blogs were posting this today. Like, it was going crazy today. This was the topic of today. So let me know what you guys think about this topic. Do you think the Clippers did this or not? Let me know. I'm out.